Hello and welcome back to Starcraft 1, Part 14. In this episode, we'll be continuing on with the Zerg campaign as we have successfully withdrawn our forces back to Jar.
Jar. Million.
Behold the power of that which is yet unborn. For the swirling images that flow forth from the chrysalis are only a shadow of the sleeper's true power.
The psionic emanations of the chrysalis out into the depths of space.
I love being the bad guys in this game.
We're not really the bad guys, honestly. I mean, we're the people that everyone else is afraid of, but that's not really a spoiler, to be perfectly honest. As a favored Cerebrate of the Overmind, sure, we're a member of the faction that everyone else is afraid of, but that doesn't really make us the bad guys.
Terran forces with care. Your priority is to protect the chrysalis at all costs.
So what is our friend Purple Crystal on the right have to say?
It is the start button.
Oh.
Alright, for this mission, we are going to use Mutalisks.
This one, we might do Mutas on.
Yeah, the one weakness that Hydralisks have is that they are a grounded unit, and so they cannot, fly. And developing unit transport tech on Zerg is really, really slow, because you want to have air armor 1 in order to make it so your overlords don't die, because your overlords are your transport unit. You want to have speed, overlord speed, because overlords are ridiculously slow without it. And you need to actually research overlord transport. And in order to get all of this, you have to evolve at least one hatchery into a lair. Now, a lair tech is actually really important, and we'll be going into lair tech any damn way to get into Mutalisks. But it takes like a good somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes if you attempt to rush Overlord transport, and if you rush it, then you're not going to have base defenses for the smaller assault forces that the Terran Dominion is going to throw at us.
So you would need 2 dedicated hatcheries then, one that you're mutating into a lair and one that's producing units.
And the one that you mutate into your lair is more than likely going to be a resource hub as well. Alright, there's our Risping, guys, where we have to get into an extractor, as it is referred to.
The extraction has begun.
I personally like to saturate my minerals before attempting to start gas, but because I don't build Zerglings, because I actually really dislike how fragile Zerglings are, this leaves me open for a good portion of the time against the computer opponents.
So there is a ravine dividing the map right now.
Yes,
so does that mean that the Terrans also need airborne units?
Yes, they specifically need to use their dropships, because that's all they need to do. They need to build. Well, they don't, because they actually start with a full base, fuckers. But they just need to build dropships and load up their units and send them our way. Whereas we need to go into a lair and then get Overlord speed and Overlord transport at the very least before we attempt to use grounded assault on them. And even then, a majority of their base actually has a small amount of anti-air defenses in it. So yeah, it's not something that it's not really something that is that is really viable, you know.
They'll probably probe you with fire bats and Goliaths, but your starting Hydras usually went out.
Mostly because we have
if left unchecked, do they start sending battle cruisers after us?
No. The difficulty doesn't ramp up for them having battle cruisers until about... Hold it. I'm trying to think, do we fight the Terran during the Zerg campaign where they have battle cruisers? No, we don't. Matter of fact, the next mission that we have immediately after this one is the last time that the Zerg fight the Terran in this campaign.
Ah. Oh, good. So we won't have to kill our good friend Hans, the Admiral.
Wouldn't it be better if his name was Karloff?
Carl, you've got to send the forces after them.
Overlords are slow.
Building overlords, building overlords.
Now, I didn't bring this up yet, so I should bring this up now. Overlords are your Psi expansion. If you need more Psi, which you will because you're Zerg, you need to build Overlords. Now, because you need to build Overlords specifically, they can be, it can be rather dangerous to have them floating around. As to be perfectly honest, since Overlords have so much health, it's really tempting to use them as actual scouts early on. And this can work if you're careful with it, but I am, not, so I don't do that. I just send Overlords to the very back end of my base, so I can have a small amount of detection at my base if I need it, because they are also detectors. Overlords have a shitload of steroids, okay? They're the Psi units. They're the natural detectors for the Zerg. They fly. They're the unit transports. And after getting fully upgrades, they're the best. They're the second best scouts that the Zerg get. But we have jump cut up here to us attempting to take this particular northern small expansion.
You can walk here, right?
Yes, you can walk here.
Okay. Well, so far I have observed this stage, like the other campaign stages, has like a sequence to it. First sequence is just get a small amount of defense ready in case they try to interrupt your flying development, because you need flying development in order to finish the map. And because it's mission 3 and the difficulty's low, you got more than enough fucking time to do it.
Yeah. Now, have we already jumped cut past this? No, we don't have any of the Overlord upgrades yet.
You mean there's going to be a second jump cut?
I don't think that there's going to be a second jump cut, but there might be. We have flyer attack and armor 1, so... Yep, there's going to be a second jump cut. Okay. But you'll notice how much damage my Mutas actually took during that. Even against that relatively small force of Marines, I've got 2 Mutas in relatively critical condition. Mutas do not want to fight against anyone that's got anti-air.
Launching. Blockers in the front.
And retreat!
Oh, you're going to attack on a lot of sides. And let's get out of here. We did it, kind of.
Yeah, we did. We've effectively secured a landing zone. Not that we'll need the landing zone because they have siege tanks up there, so sending in Hydralisks 4 at a time is not going to go well. And that's why we're doing Mutas for this map, because with their base defenses specifically, it's not really viable to do grounded assaults, even if after you've successfully secured a landing base.
Yeah, you might as, instead of getting a transport for your grounded units, you might as well just use flying units.
Yep.
I agree. Because getting transport takes pretty long, from what I observed. We have already jump cutted once to demonstrate that if there's any way in this world under God to skip and save some time, you should probably do it.
Now, I will say that Mutalisks in general are really good against swarms of small units. However, that's really the only thing that they're really good at. They do not deal with larger medium units that well, especially if they have anti-air backup. And it's why I said earlier, if you want to use Mutalisks, you pretty much need 36 of them, and that's 72 psi because Mutalisks take 2 psi apiece. Ugh.
The Mutalisk, that's snout with 2 teeth.
Yes.
Gotcha.
So what is new in the world of Cloud today?
Well, I am really close to putting together my shopping list to finish building my white, blue, and black that you've helped me test pretty extensively so far. I'm thinking of trying out some more enchantment creatures, like I want to do the Archetype of Courage, Brain Leech, and I think the Aegis of the Gods, I think it's called. So I have my choice of creatures I control at first strike and strip first strike from my opponent's creatures. I have hexproof, and look at your opponent's hand, exile a non-land card from it until the Brain Leech leaves the battlefield.
All right. So honestly, it sounds like you might want Leyline of Sanctity. Although that's a 4-drop, so.
Fuck.
4-drop cards are cool, but I would prefer that they are just Zur.
Yeah.
Man, Zur is a cold snap card. Like, he doesn't even mesh at all with the current white, blue, and black stuff, which is all, like, heavily artifact concentrated. He just came from a simpler time when Zur had absolutely nothing to do with what was going on.
Well,
Cold
white
snap.
and
His
blue.
ability is...
White and blue is artifact, and most of that comes from later sets. Actually, anytime that we go visit Kaladesh, we get a bunch of artifact stuff. But
like an Ethercast Knight, 1/3/2 drop with Exalted.
all right, with a good portion of their supply depots down, we should be able to just start steamrolling over them now.
Yep, destroy the supply depots and then destroy their units.
And with this engineering bay gone, in a moment,
They're coming
there.
over the walls!
Mutalisks also do not do good damage. The base attack for Mutalisk is 9, and it caps out at 12. But the thing is, they're not actually supposed to have great single target damage. They are very clearly meant to be used as anti-swarm and as a floating roaming strike force more than anything else.
I'll say.
They're very good at that,
It's a
to be
blob.
perfectly honest. But as a dedicated solo strike force, they are not really viable that way.
See? Massive horde. More like I'm fucking bored. Like, are they done yet?
Not yet.
Well, I mean, put them together and then just get the Death Brigade going.
But there are so many important things to go slay, like unit producing buildings and units from those unit producing buildings.
Supply depots that would stop their unit producers and their units from being effective. Ah.
Don't worry, guys, we're
When
almost
the
done.
computer contemplates typing GG. Yes. Individually, we are puny, but together we create the swarm. I think this is a great lesson. This because, I mean, Mutalisk, although individually weak and low damage given, this is what the Brood War should be about: is get a whole fucking mass of identical creatures, continue to multiply them, and just send little clouds of death everywhere. Don't breathe it in; you will be poisoned.
And there,
Fucking
that's our
party
last
time.
building that we gotta go kill. Or at least our last major building that we gotta go kill.
Right, because your objective is eliminate the Terran presence.
Yep.
Let not one unit.
Home celebrants do not pursue them.
Cerebrate, you must stay and relocate the chrysalis to a more secure location. Dagoth shall deal with the remaining Terran forces.
Indeed he shall. Because again, well, we have one more mission where we fight Terrans, and that's the last time we see them in this campaign.
Because the next time we see them after that, they whoop our asses.
Nope. Anyway, cutscene. A very unimportant cutscene, but it, sets up the next mission rather nicely.
It gives us Zerg vision.
Oh, well, would you look at that? I guess the volcano's erupting today. Dang it.
Yeah, this is unimportant. Like, what the hell are we even watching?
It will be explained slightly later.
I had a dream.